My name is Mark Beuhler. I'm the general manager of the Antelope Valley Water Bank. I'm an engineer by training, and I've been in water all my career.
So suddenly we hear this is the worst drought in 100-year history. This is the driest year on record. And we heard the Metropolitan Water District say they only have 16 months of water reserves left. So suddenly it sounds like this drought is serious business. It's not business as normal. So I wanted to get your comments about that as a water expert.
If you were a farmer in the Central Valley, you would absolutely know we're in the middle of this horrendous drought. Even though the urban areas haven't been particularly hit hard yet, the farmers see their trees dying, they see their any perennial crop is potentially at risk. And not only that, they're pumping down the groundwater in the Central Valley. They're really desperate. Now for the urban areas, even though we haven't really felt the pinch yet, we're just starting. And one of the few things that you can do rapidly, you can't build a dam quickly, you can't fill it up with water quickly, you can't build a big recycling plant quickly. What you can do, though, is you can conserve. And conservation is one of the very few things you can do almost immediately if you mobilize the population.
Southland water officials are using the word water use efficiency as opposed to conservation. And I do understand that there's a distinction between the two, but maybe you could explain what the difference is.
Well, usually conservation is a very specific term, but water use efficiency covers a much broader range of things. So for example, if you took a recycling plant, is that conservation? No. But does it save water? Yeah. So a big recycling plant is a good example of water use efficiency rather than the narrow definition of conservation, things like low flush toilets and low flow sprinklers and that sort of thing. And actually the definition gets broader. If you think in terms of decentralized recycling, you're talking gray water. And it turns out gray water is a pretty effective way to do two things. It saves water, but it also reduces the amount of sewage that goes to the sewage plants. So you get double the bang for your buck. And I like it because it's something you can do at an individual home basis. Every home can do what's called laundry to landscape, where you take the flow out of your washing machine, route it to your trees and your bushes, and no harm at all, and it's just recently been approved by the state, so you don't have to get any permits to do that.
Do you care to go on the record and give any predictions? Is there any way of predicting how long this drought will go?
Well, as a civil engineer, that kind of uncertainty keeps me in business. Nobody knows. If we did know, we'd be able to manage it better. The one thing I can tell you, though, is that, first of all, there are predictions that there's a phenomenon called mega droughts, and a lot of people think that's what ended the Anasazi civilization, is very prolonged, multi-decadal drought. If we're in one of those, we're in for some real interesting times. But I would caution one other thing. People think about the dry part of the cycle. That's what we're in right now. So we need to be ready and prepared for it. But because of the way the hydrologic cycle works, someday it's going to flip back again, and that can happen within weeks, maybe even days. And it's going to start raining, and then we're going to have floods. So no matter how much we're preoccupied with it being dry and trying to stretch out the water use, we've got to be ready for when the cycle shifts and it gets wet again and the floods start.
So if we had, say, another 3 years of drought, would you care to say that there's any 1, 2, or 3 things that we should be doing to prepare?
The single most effective water conservation measure that homes can do is to change out their landscape. Go with, it's either called xeriscape or native landscaping, but something that more closely represents what nature wanted here in the first place. Most homes now, if they're modern, they have to have efficient plumbing. So low flush toilets are fairly common, low flow shower heads, those kinds of things. But a lot of the rest is common sense. Don't shower for 15 minutes. In fact, in Australia, during their severe drought, they had egg timers in the showers. So they just flipped them over, and that gave them their 3-minute or 1-minute, whatever shower. So there's lots of common sense things that can be done.
Thank you.